Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Lee Murray, as you heard, and I have a confession to make. I am not an electrical engineer. I didn't come from this world. I wasn't born into it. I didn't cut my teeth turning wrenches or troubleshooting electrical panels. I didn't know what an arc flash was until a few years ago. Ask me in college while I was studying for my PTW degree, and I couldn't have told you the difference between a load imbalance and my left elbow. In fact, the first time I heard someone mention PPE, I thought they were talking about some obscure office software. But about 10 years ago, I found myself working in a space where those words, arc flash, downtime, reliability, weren't just technical terms. They weren't theory. They were the difference between someone going home at the end of the day or not. The difference between a plant hitting its targets or grinding to a halt. The difference between trust and chaos. And when you don't come from this world, you learn pretty quickly to shut up and listen. So I started asking questions, not the polished, conference-friendly kind, more like, why don't they just go ahead and put a sensor on it? Or, how can you justify putting a technician in harm's way? At first, I felt like I was constantly behind. Everyone seemed to speak this hidden language, acronyms, shorthand, this blend of technical precision and hard-earned instinct. And as I was trying to keep up, taking notes, Googling terms under the table, God, I wish ChatGPT had been around then. But here's the thing, you come in as an outsider, you start to notice what insiders take for granted. You see the pressure people are under. You see how much of the job is earned through experience, not just training. You hear stories, the real ones, not just the ones that make it into the manuals and into the presentations. You start to realize the field is built on a foundation of lived knowledge, of mistakes, experiments, hard-won lessons, and it becomes very clear, very quickly, you're not just working with the equipment, you're working with people. People who've seen what can go wrong and who carry that awareness in everything that they do. So, I didn't come from this world, but it certainly pulled me in. When I found myself at Iris and had conversations with the folks there, I was directed to a series of videos that Martin Robinson had put together called Red Talks. The red, it turns out, stands for Reliability Engineered by Design. And as I watched Martin's Red Talks, I found myself coming up to speed with the practical aspects of our niche in the industry fairly quickly. Each element explained in direct, plain English with no hedging or hiding behind acronyms, and only the occasional cuss word from Martin. That's why I'm standing here today, not as an expert, but as someone who's listened, learned, and tried to translate at least some of what I've learned. So that's what started this whole thing, this idea for Red Talks. It wasn't about marketing. It wasn't even about Iris. It was about Martin's vision, really. He saw that we were sitting on something bigger than our product line, bigger than our tools and technology. He saw that the most valuable thing out there isn't the hardware, it's the wisdom, the real-world experience, the stories that carry lessons you couldn't find in a manual or in a sales sheet. And I cannot overstate this. He wanted the wisdom to reach further than just us. This wasn't supposed to be Iris Talks. It wasn't built for our people or our partners. It was built to travel, to resonate, to be useful across industries, across job titles, and across borders. If the future of your operation involves reliability, safety, sustainability, or resilience, Red Talks should speak to you. That's the core of Red Talks. It's not about product demos or feature sets. It's about what it means in practical, everyday terms to build a reliable operation, to keep people safe, to plan for the long haul instead of the next quarter, to make smart decisions with limited resources. And importantly, it's for everyone. Not just the leaders in the boardroom, but technicians on the shop floor. Not just the folks writing the checks, but the folks tightening the bolts. Because we believe change doesn't just flow from the top down. Sometimes it starts with a single story that sparks a new way of thinking. Sometimes it's hearing from someone who's been exactly where you are and made it through to the other side. Now, a little bit about how we structure these. My academic background is in tech writing and journalism, so that helps a lot. Not just with writing, but with listening, with asking the kinds of questions that unlock something deeper. Not just what do you do, but why does that matter? Not just what went wrong, but what lessons did it teach you? So each Red Talk starts with a real conversation, me and the expert. But when you watch it, you won't see me. That's intentional. As handsome and camera-friendly as my face is, I step out of the frame so the expert's story takes center stage. The final video isn't a back and forth, it's a narrative. Their voice, their experience, shaped by questions, but delivered as a story. Cohesive, clear, and human. And we keep it tight, 15 to 20 minutes, no fluff, no filler, just the most important insights delivered in a way that respects your time and your attention span. Because we made Red Talks to be watchable, shareable, rewatchable, the kind of thing you can send to your team and say, watch this, it says what I've been trying to explain. Sure, it's good for you to look good when you display your knowledge and your intelligence and your insight, but this isn't about showing off. It's about showing up and showing up with the truth. And I think that's something we'll need more of. So let's talk about the name. At its core, RED stands for Reliability Engineering by Design. That's the foundation of everything we do. It's not a philosophy, it's a discipline. It means building systems, processes, and cultures where reliability isn't something you react to, it's something you plan for from the very beginning. It means thinking upstream, designing equipment, maintenance schedules, workflows, even training programs with reliability baked in from day one, not bolted on later, not patched up when things start to fail, built in, engineered from the start. That's the ideal. That's where we're trying to move as an industry, and Red Talks is part of that movement. Because if we want reliability by design, we have to learn from the people who know what causes failure in the first place. We have to hear their stories, their missteps, their insights, their research, their breakthroughs. Their knowledge is raw material for designing smarter systems. But here's the interesting thing. RED doesn't just stand for Reliability Engineering by Design. It also captures the spirit of what these things are about. Real. No scripts, no spin. These are unscripted, honest conversations with people who've lived through the challenges. Experienced. Every guest we feature has earned their wisdom the hard way. This is insight built over years, not hours. Disruptive, because sometimes moving forwards means breaking from old habits, questioning the way things have always been done, and trying something bold. So when we say RED, yes, we're talking about reliability engineering by design, but we're also talking about real, experienced, and disruptive. That dual meaning is intentional. Reliability isn't a technical goal, it's a cultural one. It requires both design thinking and disruptive insight, both careful planning and hard-won experience, both the engineering mindset and the human voice. And we chose the word red for another reason too. It gets your attention. It signals important. Urgency is the color of warning, but also the color of action. And that's what we want these talks to be. Not passive, not background noise, but something that makes you stop, think, and maybe rethink. Because the stories we're capturing at Red Talks, they aren't just good stories, they're part of the blueprint for better systems, safer facilities, stronger teams, and we think they can be the building blocks of reliability by design. So if someone's new to this industry, maybe just a few months in, and still learning the ropes, this is their shortcut. It's a way to get through some insight that would normally take years to collect. Not textbook stuff, actual live through it, here's what you can do differently wisdom. If you've been at it for 30 years, this might be your moment to pass something on. We know a lot of seasoned pros are quietly carrying decades of experience that never make it to paper. Red Talks is one of those ways to leave a legacy, one story at a time, a chance to say, here's what I learned. I hope it helps. And if you're somewhere in the middle, managing a team, trying to build a safety culture, pushing for better systems, these talks are a tool, because when it comes to change management, data isn't always enough. Sometimes what you need is a voice, a moment, a story that gets people to lean in and feel the stakes. That's the beauty of this format. It's not just content, it's connection. You can play Red Talks in a toolbox meeting. Share it in an email. Use it to kick off a safety training. These stories don't need context to matter. They are the context. They cut through the resistance, they open doors, they make people care. And we've tried to make them just as accessible as possible. No logins, no paywalls, no complicated portals, just hit play. Because the knowledge we're capturing here shouldn't be locked away. It should be out in the world, doing its job, helping people stay sharp, stay safe, stay ready. That's who Red Talks is for. That's why we're doing this. So, how do you get involved? Well, if you're here at the conference, Red Talks is live. We've got our mobile production set up on site. We're filming interviews this week, this Thursday, actually. And if you've got a story, I want to hear it. You don't need a polished pitch. You don't need a presentation. You just need something real to say. That's what we're looking for. If you know someone who should be featured, tap them. Tell them. Sometimes the most valuable stories come from people who don't see themselves as experts, but if they've been out there solving problems, keeping systems online, making things safer, they are experts, and we want to hear from them. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, this could help my team or my customers, you're right, that's the other piece of it. Once Red Talks launches officially, every episode will be free and available at redtalk.com and YouTube. You'll be able to watch, share, and even build conversations around it wherever you work. Want to use Red Talk to start a safety meeting? Do it. Want to send one to your boss as a way to make a point? Please. Want to cancel your plans so you can binge watch them all back to back on an epic Saturday night YouTube marathon? Okay, nerd. But seriously, this whole platform was built to be used, not to sit behind glass. And we're just getting started. So if you want in, find me here. I'm around all week, or go to the site when we launch and explore for yourself. Because the only thing more valuable than a good story is making sure it's not the last time it gets told. Thank you.
Red Talks features voices driving safety, reliability, and innovation forward in the industrial world. If your work challenges the status quo, we'd like to hear from you. Learn more at redtalk.com/about.